Hey there you guys, welcome back. Today we're going to go outside and take a look at the garden. A little bit of a planning sort of thing. This year is going to be a year that's going to kind of change the feel of my garden, I think. I'm going to be adding some more shrubbery or trees into the garden. Small trees, I don't want big trees. I have a big enough yard, but not that big. And yeah, I wanted to take you along and just share with you what the plans are for this year, and let's see if they actually happen. So first thing, I'm going to try to plant some new seeds this year. I'm not really a big seed planter because I tend to kill them. They rot off, and I'm so intermittent with my watering schedule that I overwater seedlings and then they dry out. So seeds sometimes just aren't good for me. But I've been wanting to grow, what is this one? This one is cypress vine. I'll put a picture off to the side of what a cypress vine looks like. I love the leaves of these guys. They're really dissected, really fern-like, and I believe they're small leaves, but the flowers are really cute too, and I believe that because they're trumpet-shaped, they will attract hummingbirds. So we really want more hummingbirds in the garden. So these are going to go in the front at the side of the house so that they can climb up the chain link fence. I got a couple of other types of seeds. This one, when I bought the cypress vine, I got some mixed baby snapdragon seeds as a free gift. So I'm going to plant those as well, I think. I love snapdragons. But I really like the tall snapdragons because I want to have something as a cut flower. So we'll see what happens. I bought a bunch of gourds for the pile outside. My pumpkins and gourds, the gourds along the fence did really, really well. On the mound they didn't. I think because the mound is more sand, so it just dried out. I wasn't able to water it nearly enough. So this year I'm going to amend it with some manure and other organic material so that it holds up some more water content. Sorry, it's early morning. I've got a frog in my throat. I tend to do videos early in the morning before work. So I also got some zucchini. It's nice to grow some zucchini in the growing season. Make some zucchini bread or muffins and other things, obviously. And then some yellow zucchinis. I just love the way that these look. I'll be giving them away to neighbors as well. And some pumpkins. I grew this one last year. They didn't really do anything. But again, I'm going to be amending with a lot more organic material. I usually would give a really good watering every weekend. But I would try to get out there and give it a drink each night after work. But it wasn't enough. It was dry within hours of being watered. Some other types of gourds. Some of these are going to go along our chain link fence as well. Not where the cypress vines are because I don't want to impede those, but a little further off to the side. So we'll see what happens. And some of these little mini pumpkin gourds, they're so cute. So let's just get out into the garden and see what's growing. It is March. I keep thinking to myself, it's April, but it's still March. And here in Canada, usually in March, we still have some snow. Well, in my area of Canada. So yeah, it's been abnormally warm, so I'm really reluctant to get outside and do things in the garden because we could still have a snowstorm, we could still have like a really deep freeze, but we're coming into March very, very soon, we're coming into April very, very soon, and halfway through April I'm a little bit more confident, but right now I want to bring stuff up from the grow room and put it in the garage so I can put it outside during the day. When it's above 10 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees Fahrenheit. But it's really early. It's really early. Lately, for this past week and a little bit of last week, it has been in the teens. So 18 degrees Celsius, 15 degrees Celsius. It's been really, really warm. So anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get outside and see what's happening. Okay, so here we are in the backyard. First thing is going to be where this sectional is. We're going to put a pergola, so that will be exciting. And let's go look at the garden. Hopefully the glare isn't too bad. As you can see, there's no leaves. It's still very, very early in the season. But yeah, we'll go and check things out. Yeah, so the pergola will be here. We just find that it's too bright. We need some sort of sun shelter to sit under, and a pergola will be perfect. One thing that has done really, really well here is the Arum Italica or Italicum. I'm not sure what it is, but I was surprised. I guess it's evergreen, but it will die off during the summertime. So very excited. I wonder if it's going to flower this year. Some places it's considered invasive, but here it is not so much. So there's not a lot growing. We've got, looks like an allium starting to sprout. I think it started to sprout last fall, but it is still got a little bit of green on it. I left an elephant ear. Actually, I forget what I had. It was the Alocasia macrorrhiza that was in here that I have to clean out these pots. I took a little piece inside. It was just getting too big to manage, so I started off with a small piece. I don't even know if I'll keep it, just because I don't have the space in the garden anymore, as I'm going to be switching over to more shrubbery and trees. So last fall, I don't know whether you guys saw, but I ended up getting a contorted larch. So this one should be coming into its own soon. I love the way that the new growth comes out on it, and it comes out like fishing lures. They feel like rubber when you touch them, so I'll have to learn to keep my hands off them. They're just so soothing to just feel between your fingers. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll also see how it develops. It's got quite a tall leader on the top. I might prune that down a little bit to get a nice bushy growth, but the contorted habit of it should be interesting. So we'll see how that grows. Down here we have, which was a surprise, I like to plant my primula in the garden after I get them in the spring, and looks like it survived, as they should, in this zone. But I've got all kinds of little mini daffodils starting to sprout. Lots and lots of little mini daffodils. I got those years ago, and they're just doing beautifully. Got some sedums starting to come through, as you might be able to see there, a little baby sedums. I'll have to come out and cut these things back, all the dead growth. Back in the back there's an allium. So just a lot of not very much happening. This eastern redbud, the forest pansy, is starting to develop its buds for the season. You can see that they're starting to really swell up, and it grows along, the buds grow along all of the branches. So even down low in the trunk, there's going to be some buds. You'll see the little nubbins coming up. So the flowers really can come out of anywhere on the stem. So that's really interesting. Last weekend I came out and I took a lot of the leaves off the hostas and the spent flower spikes. I was going to wait until a little bit later, because if we get another cold snap, which is entirely possible, I wanted to have a little bit of protection, but I took them out anyway. I needed something to do. And then here we've got the pasque flower, or anemone. Here it's just about to flower, as you can see. Those are one of my favorite spring blooms. I love how they're covered in that fuzz. Some allium starting to grow here. I think that's millennium. This Japanese maple is looking okay. The buds are developing really, really nicely. And around here, this is where the bananas are going to go. And over in this corner, this is where I'm going to put a twisty baby locust or robinia. So I'm very excited to grow that. Last year it was a tall elephant ear, but again, I want to go more shrubbery. I'll have to cut back this lavender very, very soon. I'm going to wait until I see some new growth develop, and I'm just going to give it a quick trim. I want it to be a little bit more of a manageable size. It's quite large. And then back here is a wisteria. No signs of life just yet. I see that the buds are getting a little bit bigger. I don't know whether you're able to see them there, but so far it's still quite dormant. So let's go into the front yard. So on these beautiful days, I have some of the hardiest plants out so that they can get some extra sun, and if it rains, some moisture. Hasn't really rained a lot, but this weekend we're supposed to get a bunch. So they look a little ragged because they've been in the garage all winter, crushed up against other things. Hopefully they will start to look better soon. The carnivorous pot has all kinds of new growth developing, so I'm very excited that it's going to be coming back for another year. This here, the Drosera capensis, it was an experiment to see whether it would survive in the garage, and it didn't do all that bad. It didn't die, so that's promising. I'll always leave a piece in this pot. And then we've got, this is a Colocasia, oh goodness, Fontensii. I love, this has a really purple rubbery leaf, and it stays in the garage over winter. It goes completely dormant. And then these planters here, I covered the boxwoods with a burlap, but I've taken that off, obviously, just a week or two ago, and I've been watering the pots. Don't forget to water your pots if you have planted perennials or shrubs. As the weather starts to warm up, you want to make sure that they stay good and hydrated. I'll have to clean these out as well. I didn't want, again, it's really early, I didn't want to go and play too much in the pots. So here's the garden. Again, no leaves per se, but we have a bunch of things starting to come up. We've got some crocus, as you can see, starting to grow, and we've got some hyacinth starting to pop up there as well. And the Japanese maple still looks so good. It's got a lot of green to the stems, so that means that there's not a lot of dieback. And this hibiscus, the perennial hibiscus, that's going to get moved at some point. It's really too big, and it just takes over in that spot, and I just want to put it somewhere else. I think I'm going to dig, let's move the camera around. We're going to dig a garden here. I'm not sure whether it's going to be this year. I might just dig a hole for it behind the fire hydrant, far enough away that it doesn't impede them using the hydrant, but closer to this side. Anyway, I think I'm going to put it there to kind of mask the hydrant. So yeah, again, it's so hard to dig gardens here because the clay is so heavy, but we'll do it in time. And as you can see, we've got all kinds more bulbs coming up. I don't know what this one is. I'll have to look and see what I purchased. But I love this time of the year for all the new stuff popping up. The sedum is starting to grow through. We've got some hyacinths and daffodils growing there. And these tulips are one of my favorites. Look at the color on those tulips. Looks like I'll need to replant these in the fall again so that they're not as deep, because as you can see, the leaves are barely above the soil surface, and they're really unfurling. They should be a little bit more shallow. Tulips have a bad habit of pushing themselves deeper and deeper into the soil, and that causes them to eventually peter off and die, which is a bad trait. So you need to replant your tulips at least every other year. And then the dogwood has all kinds of buds here. Hopefully they didn't burn off. They should be fine, but every tip has beautiful buds developing, and we'll see. Hopefully it opens up and we have a beautiful show of white blooms that turn to pink. And then off here to the step, close to the step, this one will be exciting. This is it's a Crown Imperial fritillaria beside the sedum. So the fritillaria should get quite tall. That's why I planted it close to the step, so that I can maybe stake it up or something. And then my hardy cactus, they're doing just fine. I thought that this one was gonna die over winter, but it survived. And these Dutch iris, they look like heck right now, but they look like that all winter. So they'll produce new flushes of growth, and I love the blooms. The blooms are so pretty, and they flower in early summer, I believe. And over here, this is where I'm going to plant the cardinal vine. And I'm going to, usually have a pot here with a trellis to kind of break some wind. Break some wind. And I want to put some cardinal vine up here as well. Just as a little bit of a windbreak. The leaves are so ferny, it's not going to stop much wind, but it'll be a nice little barrier. If I plant enough of them, it might help. And then I've got some garlic starting to sprout, as you can see. So that's super exciting. I don't know what's going to happen on this side. I usually have my plumerias here, and that's probably not going to change this year. But in time, I don't know, I want to have something different. I'm waiting for my plumerias to bloom so that I can see what color they are, and then I'm going to get rid of some of them. I want to keep about 4 or 5 of my favorites and get rid of the rest. I certainly don't need 25. So, and they're getting big, so that's that. So that's been a little bit of the tour, a little bit of what's going on. If you have any questions, comment down below. Maybe you have some suggestions. Again, I'm in zone 6B, so the planting options are limited, sort of. So yeah, and I'm trying to get away from, like I said, some of the tropicals out in the garden. I'll always have some, don't get me wrong, but I wanna have them more as a pop rather than the focal point. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'd love to see what you're planning for your gardens. So yeah, tag me on Instagram and Facebook, and yeah, until next time, you guys, happy growing.